Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, good day, greetings from Pakistan Institute for Conflict and Security Studies. I am Abdullah Khan, Managing Director of Pakistan Institute for Conflict and Security Studies. In today's vlog, we will discuss death of Ayman Al-zwahiri and future course of action of Al-Qeda, especially in South Asia and other parts of the world. As you know that the American president has claimed that American drone strike eliminated Al-Qeda leader Ayman Al-zwahiri in Kabul on Sunday. So if we believe in that claim, that is a true claim, although the American government has said that they don't have any evidence of DNA of Ayman Al-zwahiri, but let's assume that American claim is correct. And then what will be the future of Al-Qeda after Ayman Al-zwahiri? Before we talk about Ayman Al-zwahiri, Al-Qeda without Ayman Al-zwahiri in the future, let me give you a brief overview of how Ayman Al-zwahiri influenced Al-Qeda. Many of you may know that Osama bin Laden founded Al-Qeda. At that time, Ayman Al-zwahiri was not part of Al-Qeda. He was a late entrant. He had his own militant organization, which he merged into Al-Qeda later on. And after 9/11, when many top leaders of Al-Qeda, they were killed or apprehended by the Americans, and gradually Ayman Al-zwahiri got to the top position, deputy of Osama bin Laden, and eventually after the death of Osama bin Laden in 2011, he became head of Al-Qeda. As you all know that Osama bin Laden had pledged allegiance with Mullah Umar, and after that Ayman Al-zwahiri had pledged allegiance with Mullah Umar, and after the death of Mullah Umar, he had pledged allegiance to Mullah Akhtar Mansoor, and after the death of Mullah Akhtar Mansoor and a drone strikes in Balochistan, Pakistan, Ayman Al-zwahiri then pledged allegiance to Mullah Haibatullah. And as per the agreement of America and Taliban, Taliban was supposed not to allow any militant group who could pose threat to America and its allies. Taliban was supposed not to allow any top leadership or any operatives of Al-Qeda, but there are UN reports and other reports that Al-Qeda is still operating in Afghanistan. And if we believe in American claim, then Ayman Al-zwahiri, the topmost leadership of Al-Qeda, was in Kabul. As I said, that let's see how Ayman Al-zwahiri had actually influenced the overall course of action of Al-Qeda. Before Ayman Al-zwahiri came into Al-Qeda and started to influencing the people, Al-Qeda used to target mostly the American targets, the Western targets. But Ayman Al-zwahiri had a philosophy, had a thinking that unless these jihadi forces, they don't get rid of the Muslim rulers of present time who work as per their ideology, who work at the behest of the American and the Western powers, unless the Muslims get rid of these Muslim rulers, there cannot be any Sharia, any Islamic rule in the Muslim world. For that, he diverted the efforts of Al-Qeda inside rather than outside. So we have seen that a lot of militant movements fighting inside Muslim countries against Muslim forces, and that was the ideology behind that. We have seen in different parts of the Muslim world, and we have seen that this inward trend has actually put the whole Muslim world on fire. Everywhere we have seen militant attacks in Iran, in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, and other places. and Egypt. And in Pakistan, we are fighting Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. And if you look at the ideology of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, it is merely a Pashto and Urdu translation of what the Al-Qaeda's ideology is. So that is another debate. But let's talk about Al-Qaeda, how it will be after the death of Ayman Al-Zwahiri. You know that Dawlat al-Islamiyya, or Daesh, commonly known as Islamic State, it was actually Al-Qaeda fil Iraq. And then Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and some other key leaders of Al-Qaeda, they defected from the main group, and then they formed Daesh. And we have seen that with the passage of time, the main Al-Qaeda that became irrelevant in overall militant campaign in different Muslim countries. So even being the head of Al-Qaeda, Ayman Al-Zwahiri was almost irrelevant vis-a-vis operations are concerned, whether vis-a-vis attacks are concerned. Although the Shabab of Somalia, they pledged allegiance with Al-Qaeda. The group emerged in Indian occupied Kashmir. They pledged under the Zakir Musa. They pledged allegiance. Ansar Ghazwatul Hind. They said that they are part of Al-Qaeda. They joined Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda's own South Asia chapter of South Asia subcontinent, that is there. But all these are their linkage with the top leadership had become just ideological linkages, just using the name to get influence to attack the people, but the operational authority of Ayman Al-Zwahiri was not there. So for me, there will be no effect of his elimination on overall conduct of Al-Qaeda, because Al-Qaeda Central is almost kind of non-existent now. They're not able to maneuver any local branch of Al-Qaeda, whether it is Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, whether it is Al-Qaeda in Somalia, whether in Syria. We have seen that the Syrian chapter of Al-Qaeda, they renamed themselves and they almost dissociated themselves and joined the united front of different Muslim militant groups against the Syrian government. So Jabhat al-Nusra, I am talking about Jabhat al-Nusra, which was active in Syria, which was a local branch of Al-Qaeda. They actually renamed themselves just to cut their ties from the top leadership of Al-Qaeda. So we can safely say that Al-Qaeda as an organization is a spent force now. Perhaps there will be no big difference on overall organization, but let's see if Mr. Saiful Adil, if he becomes the head of Al-Qaeda, then there are 2-3 aspects of that replacement. First, for me, I think that Al-Qaeda as an organization may you find them reluctant to accept Saiful Adil as Amir of Al-Qaeda, because Saiful Adil spent years in safe houses of Iranian government. So perhaps the foot soldiers, the second and third tier leaders, commanders of Al-Qaeda, and especially those who are active in Syria and Iraq against the influence of Iran, against Bashar al-Assad, they will say that the person who spent years and years in Iranian safe houses in Iran may be influenced by Iran. They may not accept Saiful Adil as the chief of Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaidatul Jihad as they name it. So even let's assume that if Saiful Adil accepts this, if Saif al-Adl is accepted as the leader of Al-Qaeda, then we may see a shift in Al-Qaeda's ideological policies, because there was a time when Saif al-Adl was against the policies of Ayman Al-Zwahiri. Some people who monitor the activities and literature of Al-Qaeda and other things. So it was reported some years back that Saif al-Adl said about Ayman Al-Zwahiri that the offspring of Firaun ki aulad, he had destroyed the ideology of Al-Qaeda, so with takfir and Khawarij ideology. So perhaps some people think that Saif al-Adl may revive Al-Qaeda as an entity which is anti-West, which refrains fighting inside Muslim worlds. He may shift Al-Qaeda towards the non-Muslim countries, towards the areas where some Muslim territory is under occupation, like Kashmir, like Palestine, like other places, like the time when there was a militant movement in Chechnya and Dagestan against Russians. So we may see that, and obviously against America and the Western forces. So if Saif al-Adl becomes an effective Amir of Al-Qaeda, so there is a strong possibility that he will shift Al-Qaeda's overall focus from inside again outward towards the West and towards the countries where the Muslim territories are under occupation. And one of them is possibility is there that Al-Qaeda may become active in Xinjiang province of China. We all know that Turkestan Islamic Party is a close ally of Al-Qaeda. They always work together with each other. And there is a possibility that a militant movement is revived in Xinjiang province. So that are the brief possibilities which I have discussed, that if Saif al-Adl becomes head of Al-Qaeda in future. And another thing which I would like to highlight is that with the death of Ayman Al-Zwahiri, the pressure on Afghan Taliban, the Imarat-e-Islamiyya, Afghanistan, I think that will be diluted to a large extent. Although the Americans are saying that Taliban have violated their agreement that they will not allow such groups to operate from Afghanistan, but at the same time, with the elimination of Al-Qaeda chief, perhaps the presence of Al-Qaeda people in Afghanistan will be deeply affected. As everybody knows that the majority of Al-Qaeda's operatives from this part of the world, they have shifted towards Middle East, towards Syria, Iraq, and North Africa. And the remaining Arab militants in Afghanistan, perhaps they would also feel insecure in this area. They may find themselves in trouble, or perhaps this will help Afghan Taliban to wave off the pressure. They will say, look, now there is no Al-Qaeda top leadership here, perhaps no Al-Qaeda active as in a proper organization in this area. So they can perhaps within a month or 2 or 3 present themselves in a better position to the world. Look, now the Al-Qaeda threat is over, and we are fighting against Daesh, which is a common threat to everybody. So let's accept us as a government and let's move on. So perhaps with the demise of Ayman Al-Zwahiri, that is the end of Al-Qaeda in this part of the world. Al-Qaeda Central. Al-Qaeda is the local branch of Al-Qaeda. Already their chief Asim Umar was killed in Afghanistan perhaps 2 years ago, and Al-Qaeda's South Asian chapter is already weaker. Perhaps they are unable to launch any major operations in anywhere in India or in Bangladesh or in Pakistan. So that is already a dormant kind of a chapter of Al-Qaeda, and with the demise of their central Arab leadership from Afghanistan, I think Al-Qaeda is perhaps sort of a closed chapter in this part of the world. Perhaps they may remain active in Somalia and Syria and North Africa, but perhaps we may not see them very stronger here. Perhaps the future of the international militants here belongs to Daesh in future. So perhaps major focus will remain and should remain on Daesh in the future. These were a few words about the death of Ayman Al-Zwahiri. Let's meet in some other session. I will keep talking to you on different aspects of militancy in South Asia. Thank you very much.